name of some people understanding something age and perhaps otherwise as anti-aging. But what exactly is the formula there? How big is the market now? Are youngsters also sort of having a bent of mind towards anti-aging, taking it too early perhaps, and others overdoing? What exactly is the truth behind it and how should you follow? We'll have that as a top focus here on the program today.
After that, we have on the champions of SAF, the South Asian Football Federation. India just won it a few days ago. And we have with us coach Bibiano Fernandes and the player who scored the most goals in the tournament. We're talking about Danny Mete. So really action-packed Friday for you. My name's Toya Singh. Let's head in to all of the headlines. First up, the new face of anti-aging. Anti-aging, could it be the new self-care? What's the difference, if there's any, between longevity and anti-aging? Is longevity a status symbol? We take a look at this wellness industry gold mine of sorts. India's anti-aging industry is going to be hitting 4 billion by 2033. And it seems like Gen Z is actually fueling the growth.
And TGIF, thank God it's Friday. From immersive art shows to stand-up comedy and more. The Time Loop Tango, Rajkumar Rao's Bhool Chook Maaf and the Stitch Fever that hits the summer. All that you need to know about this weekend in our weekly TGIF wrap.
And after that, as we promised, the Teen Titans taking the trophy home. You're looking at India as it's won SAF U-18 in a showdown. And we tell you all about how you had Danny Mete, who across the tournament had 5 goals. You had India kicking up a football storm. What does this mean and what is the coach Bibiano Fernandes' grand plan for our boys? Our top story first. For years, anti-aging was a hush-hush vanity market, something you were doing in secret but not telling others about. But seemingly this is now changing, with Gen Z buying retinol before they buy their first job, as 20-somethings are scheduling preventative Botox and investing in skincare to take care of themselves.
And India's anti-aging market is actually booming, already worth about $2.5 billion and projected to touch about 4 billion by 2033. The shift is from repair to prevention, which any likely sort of curve would have you. From hiding wrinkles to sort of building skin resilience, from makeup contours to personalized longevity stacks. But behind the glow lies a tougher question. Are we chasing wellness or are we just selling insecurities?
So to break down today's story with us and to decode the real face of this boom, we have with us Dr. Shailendra Vyas. He's the CEO of BioHeaven 360, and we're going to go to him to understand more about this. So let's call him onto the show. Dr. Vyas, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on the Breakfast Club. Dr. Vyas.
Good morning.
Good morning. If we could first ask you, just define for us, because today's discussion stretches beyond makeup. It's not just about what you put onto your face. It's also about how people are more and more investing in different things to change their body from the inside too. So just first define for us, how do you define the word longevity? Is it the same as anti-aging? What is that definition?
Okay, so first a good morning to all the viewers of CNN News 18 and this lovely show, The Breakfast Club. You raised a very beautiful question, anti-aging versus longevity. So actually previously this word anti-aging, it was used synonymously to longevity. Currently that is being used. And people were not aware of this new term longevity. Although it was there, but it was not in vogue, not in fashion. People were using the term anti-aging. But over a period of time, this word has been hijacked by the cosmetic industry, particularly the beauty concepts started picking up, the cosmetic surgeries that mostly took over this word anti-aging. And scientists started feeling that this word anti-aging is actually, negating the actual phenomenon that is aging. We are not accepting aging as a natural process. We are trying to do something against nature. So they've started preferring another term that is longevity, or particularly another term that is age reversal. And just I'd like to quote one saying. We say that beauty is skin deep. So anti-aging remained on skin, but longevity went deeper into, because if you have to live longer, if you have to live healthy till age of 100, despite so many advances, we are not being able to provide 100 years of healthy aging. So it goes deep down. Every organ, anti-aging phenomena, or every systems in the body, whether it's liver, kidney, heart, your gut, everything has to be tackled for anti-aging, and that brings in the holistic concept of longevity.
Right. But my question then, Dr. Vyas, is how many people really care about this difference? We are looking at a younger generation which just wants a filter in real life, if not on Instagram. We're looking at a generation which wants to look young, feel young, but perhaps not really care about what's happening within, or perhaps how my mother would have, or my grandmother would have thought of longevity or self-care. They would have thought of how my doshas are doing, how my body is responding. But are we at a junction where there is better awareness, or have we fallen off the cart completely and given in to all these Korean beauty trends?
Actually, well, when it comes to India, we were always aware of longevity. We have been, living a lifestyle which was close to nature. My maternal father, he lived till the age of 100. My maternal uncle, he's still 97 and he practices yoga. Yeah. So my mother, she's 80 and she's very healthy. So thing is that, people in India, they have been aware of it, but because of this, this screen show that has come in, people started, taking care more of the external beauty rather than the internal beauty. But the concept had always been there. You've spoken of this football thing that is happening. So Cristiano Ronaldo, two concepts come in. One is the chronological aging, that from the date of your birth, times keep on passing, this is your chronological age. But how your body behaves. At the age of 50, if your body is behaving just like an age of 30, this is biological age. Your biology, your system is more active, it's more younger as compared to your chronological age. So in India, we have always been doing. So just like you mentioned,
so are you saying, sorry, I'm interrupting. Are you saying the problem is with the current generation and those before us knew better?
Ronaldo is current generation, I would say, right? Yeah. We actually have
you can't put athletes the same
also
sentence,
an athlete
right?
of that.
Yeah, athletes have a whole team working on ensuring that they look a particular way, their body responds a particular way. They have a whole team of, like a full office, just taking care of every part of their body. We're talking about regular, everyday people. Do you think
that's
right now, younger people sort of don't have that conventional wisdom maybe?
No, they have become actually more, aware of this concept recently. I've just mentioned that because of this screen shows, people went more into cosmetics and considered anti-aging as cosmetic. But now people are realizing that it's not just the superficial thing. It's not just putting up some mask on for your Insta or for some reel. It has to be skin deep. So you can see there are so many people who are now practicing yoga. There are so many shows and people, and there are celebrity personalities on Instagram who are providing reels on gym. They are tackling about exercises, how your body has to behave, different organ, for which organ, which exercises. So young generation is more aware, I would say, except when it comes to, your presentability or your presentation. To some extent, during some 10, 20 years back, people would have lost that concept. But even my mother's generation, your mother's generation, they were aware of it. They were talking, just like you mentioned, they've talked of dosha. So maybe 5-10% might not be aware, or they might not be, interested in internal things, but 90-95%, they are 80-90%, they're always aware of, taking the holistic thing as it, though they may not be aware of the actual thing that we call as longevity, internal organs or something.
Sure.
Gymming, jogging, sweating, everything is there in place.
So, Dr. Vyas, you just actually touched on it. You talked about some of the pillars, right? There are pillars we all know. So, something we've talked about since the dawn of time is eat healthy, and we, to some degree, know what eat healthy means. You say exercise. Those are standard pillars. But you're a scientist, so you're researching longevity in the day-to-day. So, I want to understand, what are the puzzle pieces that scientists are looking to fill when it comes to cracking the longevity question? What are you researching?
Okay, so longevity, when we say that it's healthy age, right? And why this concept is all of sudden became so prominent, it's mainly because India and many countries are young, but there are many European countries where an aging population has increased, and gradually India is also moving into that direction. Maybe by 10-20 years down the line, there will be more of an aged population, and that is why United Nations has declared this decade from 2020 to 2030 as the decade of healthy aging and longevity. So this is the first point that we must understand. Now, coming to your question, that what are the puzzles, what are the components of longevity? Everybody is working in their own field and trying to understand how longevity can be addressed. But there are two important components that we must understand. Is that, as a scientist, number one is that even though there is no symptom or no disease in my body, but can I know that after 20 or 30 years there is a risk that such a disease may occur in my body? HBOC, hereditary breast and ovarian cancer, there is a gene, BRCA gene. So mutation in those genes, if they are there, then there is chance that ovarian or cervical cancer can happen. So this is like understanding at an earlier stage. Second thing is, by doing regular diagnostic tests and everything, if the disease has onset, if it's at the very beginning stage, if you can identify the disease at the very early stage, then also your treatment is possible, and you can increase years in your life. You can control that disease at the early stage, right? So this is the second component of aging. So these are the two things which are kind of preventing something that can lead to death or lead to suffering. There is another aspect. There may be wherein you incorporate components of healthy habits in your lifestyle. Like this is going to bring change into the cells in your tissue, in your organ system. Doing jogging, having proper nutrition, having diet, meditations, all those things, they are healing. So they are promoting the factors which can increase the span of life. So on other way, the previous two were preventive, but this particular thing is more of promoting something.
Yes.
We enhance something, and including that, I would say there are many components or compounds that people are researching. Rishi Chavan, you might have heard, Chavanprash. It has been considered to, rejuvenate the whole body. It could make an old person a young. So that is researched in Ayurveda. So even Ayurveda agrees with the principle of longevity and what we call as anti-aging.
Okay, I want to emphasize on something, Dr. Vyas. You said that, and very rightly so, the difference between anti-aging and regeneration. That means reversing your age. There is the third aspect, right? I want to understand how biologically solid, researched perhaps it is to actually do so. I mean, isn't evolution the name of the game? Aren't we supposed to age a particular way? Aren't we fighting against nature when we do something like that? For example, I'm sure you've heard of this guy called Brian Johnson. He runs an entire campaign called Don't Die. He's basically saying that I'm going to do everything in my capacity to not age, but actually reverse my age. And there is a whole school of thought on how just the basic principles of nature and human being and evolution, it does not fit in. What's your take?
Actually, you have rightly said. The first thing is that we are not working against nature. Nature has given a human body. It has created a system. But because of our activities, our lifestyle, we are taking toxins, taking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, not eating healthy, particularly use of so many chemicals which were against nature. So that is actually work against what nature has given to us. So we are in fact working to promote or to actually value something that nature has given to us. Brian Johnson, you have taken the name. There are many others. Cristiano Ronaldo, I would say that he's a football player. Then Dr. David Sinclair, he's an advocate of genetics as a source of longevity. Brian Johnson, though many people ridicule that he has money, so maybe he is doing everything in his capacity. But there is some component Brian Johnson in everyone. If suppose I give you something and tell you that, okay, this is going to make you 10 years younger, are you not going to use it? If I would have had money, I also would have done that.
My question is, should we do that? What does research say?
Yeah, actually, there is a component of scientific element that if you are doing something, number one is scientific attitude or aptitude, it prevents testing of something which is not there exactly, for which there is no evidence directly on you. So that has to be prevented. But he's doing that. He's so passionate. So I, to some extent, give credit to him that if he's doing that, he's gone to an extent beyond which all scientists would have thought of. And he's putting himself as a guinea pig that, okay, I'll do anything that, and suppose if we find something valuable, is it not going to be of use to the society? So though I am not exactly of the opinion that one should do that thing, but yes, to some extent, what he's doing, I appreciate that his passion about understanding the mechanism of longevity. And he has got money, so yes, can do that.
You might not back what Brian Johnson does, but you're saying everything that he's doing might open the doors of so much more in the future, which is so interesting. Thinking typically as a scientist over there. Thank you so much, Dr. Vyas. We'll leave it there for the moment.
Can't agree with you more than that. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on now.
This entire phase is developing. Let's move on now and bring you more stories coming in from India and across the globe. We'll start with what's happening in the States. The Trump administration on Thursday revoked Howard University's certification under the Student Exchange Visitor Program, suspending its ability to enroll new international students and barring it from hosting any foreign students for the 25-26 academic year. Additionally, existing international students must now transfer to another institution to maintain their visa status. Now, according to the US Department of Homeland Security order, this move follows an earlier warning in April when NOAM had threatened to take similar action. At that time, she had said that Howard's certification depended on following US immigration laws.
All right, and moving on, we now take you to Lima on Wednesday, where visitors in a new exhibition will be brought closer to one of the most challenging archaeological sites to visit in the country. It's obviously nestled in the Peruvian Amazon. Through VR headsets, museum visitors can explore the Chachapoya culture's Grand Pajetan archaeological site. It's difficult to access for tourists due to its remote location. The exhibit also shows discoveries made between 2023 and 2024 in expeditions by the World Monuments Fund. Archaeologists uncovered over 100 structures belonging to the Chachapoya culture, significantly more than what was originally known, which was only about 26 such structures.
A new park in Orlando, Florida features 5 world themes around the likes of Harry Potter, the Nintendo, and How to Train Your Dragon. It was launched with a celebrity event on Wednesday. Epic Universe represents an estimated $7 billion investment in the Universal Orlando Resort, which has for decades been considered a pit stop on your way to Walt Disney World. It adds about 750 acres to the resort's size and is the largest investment Comcast, which has come into being and made in Universal's theme park since gaining control of the business in 2011. Analysts say it possesses a heightened competitive threat, in fact, to Walt Disney World, whose last major expansion was back in 2019.
All right, we shift from that now to news of the Chinese automaker BYD Build Your Dream. It sold more electric vehicles in Europe than Tesla for the first time as an aging model lineup for Tesla and its CEO Elon Musk's politics are seemingly hurting the demand for the US EV makers' cars. This is Reuters with more. Take a look.
Chinese car maker BYD sold more electric vehicles in Europe than Tesla for the first time in a, quote, watershed moment. That's according to a report from market researchers JATO Dynamics. This shift away from Tesla comes as its aging model lineup and CEO Elon Musk's politics hurts demand. The report said in April, BYD registered 7,231 battery-powered EVs in Europe, while Tesla registered almost 70 fewer. This is significant, an industry analyst said, as Tesla's led the market for years, while BYD only officially begun operations beyond Norway and the Netherlands in late 2022. Demand for EVs in Europe remains steady, and despite the EU's tariffs on Chinese-made EVs, registrations of such cars increased 59% in April, from a year earlier, while car makers from Europe, Japan, South Korea and the US recorded 26% growth. For Tesla, it reported its first drop in annual deliveries last year, and analysts expect another fall this year after a 13% decline in Q1.
A star is born, Elon.
Musk's political actions have not only contributed to a demand slump, but also triggered waves of protests against Tesla. And analysts say customers are also waiting for cheaper versions of its bestseller Model Y to become widely available before buying. However, Musk said earlier this week that Tesla has already turned around sales, and demand was strong in regions apart from Europe.
Moving on to Nestle, which is making news both in India and globally as well. In India for different reasons on how it's out of the BSE stock market now, of the Sensex top there over there. But in Swiss food giant Nestle is actually refocusing on the group's core business after straying into segments like health supplements that weakened what they say fabric of the organization. Here's a report.
Swiss food giant Nestle will refocus on its core business after diversification into different types of products, quote, weakened the fabric of the company. That's according to its boss, Laurent Frechet, who took over the company in September. He told the Financial Times that straying into segments like health supplements meant its core brands in coffee, pet care and food were neglected. He said he only saw merits in slimming down the group's portfolio in places where Nestle wasn't in a position to win. In another interview earlier this week, Frechet revealed that Nestle, owner of brands including Nescafé and Kit Kat, is recovering market share in the US. That's despite concerns of impact from President Donald Trump's trade tariffs and American consumers feeling unsettled by a slowdown in the economy. Leading with an attitude that, quote, M&A is not the strategy. Frechet branded Nestle as on the right track.
All right, and after the break, we are taking you to something entirely different. The Teen Titans that took the trophy home as India won the SAF U-19 showdown a few days ago. We have on Danny Mate, he's the man who made 5 goals in the tournament, and the coach, Bibinho Fernandez, whose hard work made the boys bring it in big.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
So it's exactly a month since the Pahalgam terror attack. India, of course, carrying out Operation Sindoor earlier this month and drawing some new red lines that terror will not go unpunished. There will be a proportionate cost that will be imposed on the enemy. And of course, there are a range of options that are sub-nuclear, some of which India carried out through the course of Operation Sindoor. Are we looking at a new normal? That's what the government of India, that's what the Prime Minister today said in his address in Bikaner. But what are the red lines? What is the template of this new normal? And how will India enforce this new normal were there to be another attack? some months or years down the line. Professor John Mearsheimer is with the Political Science Department at the University of Chicago, one of the world's foremost international relations experts. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. You're joining us on the day exactly a month since the attack that happened on the 22nd of April, in which 26 Indians were killed. India, of course, took reprisal action through the military operation that was carried out earlier this month. What is your assessment now, a month in, as to whether India has created a new paradigm or a new security doctrine when it comes to dealing with these acts of terror by the actions it took earlier this month?
That India has created a new paradigm or a new model for dealing with this problem. This is a long-standing problem, and India is, I think, responding today much the way it has responded in the past and is likely to respond in the future. I don't think India wants a major war with Pakistan, and therefore it engages in escalation on the lower rungs of the escalation ladder. And the problem that India faces is that it can't dominate on the lower rungs or even the middle range rungs of the escalation ladder. Furthermore, the United States got deeply involved in this, or at least it claims that it got deeply involved in this, which is not to India's advantage, because India doesn't want it to be a situation where the United States comes in and tells India what to do. But it looks to some people like that's what has happened. And furthermore, from India's point of view, it doesn't want to be treated as an equal with Pakistan. India views itself, understandably, as a greater power than Pakistan. But in a conflict like this, India and Pakistan end up getting treated equally. So I think from a military point of view, it's a standoff.
I do want to talk about the U.S. role, because there's been a lot of disappointment with the intervention of leaders like Mr. Vance, the Vice President, the Secretary of State. But the disappointment, I suspect, is greatest with President Trump, not least because of his public pronouncements, including one yesterday when he was meeting the South African president, I think, in the White House, where he said, look, I told these two countries, let's do some trade. There are two parts to this problem. One is, as you said, equating India and Pakistan, in a sort of even keel. Clearly, India doesn't think it needs to be equated or hyphenated with Pakistan. And second, the whole thing started because of a terrorist attack. India's response was in response to that terrorist attack. For the President of the United States to say, I said, let's do some trade, equating trade to response to a terror attack has also left real sour taste in the mouth. How would you see both of these aspects?
I completely understand the Indian perspective, but it's what you would expect from President Trump. Diplomacy is not his strong suit. He just says whatever he thinks. He doesn't think carefully about the diplomatic consequences of his rhetoric. And even more importantly, he likes to claim responsibility for every success in international politics. So he's come into this situation and he's basically treating India and Pakistan if they're minor players who were squabbling, and he, the great Donald Trump, came in and put both of them at rest by telling them that he would give them more trade if they stopped fighting with each other. This, of course, is not what happened, but it's the way President Trump views the world. He always sees himself as being responsible for good outcomes. And the end of the conflict here was a good outcome. It didn't escalate further. So he's claiming credit. And I can understand why the Indians are deeply unhappy about this. And the Pakistanis, on the other hand, are happy about Trump's rhetoric.
How much of that rushing in to claim credit for this ceasefire, as he claims he mediated, which India, of course, is completely denying, is because of his apparent failures in finding any kind of peace, either in Russia, Ukraine, or for that matter in the war that's going on between Israel and Hamas in Gaza?
I agree 100% with what you said. I think that if you look at Trump's performance on the foreign policy front, with regard to settling the war in Ukraine, improving relations with Russia, coming up with some sort of meaningful peace agreement with Iran to shut down that crisis and ending the Gaza genocide, he's failed on every count. And then you can put on top of that the problem with tariffs. It's quite clear that he's had to backtrack.
Welcome back, and it's time to take you through our person of interest, which today is people of interest really. Now this morning we are bringing you a story of grit, glory and goosebumps because India's under-19 football team has been crowned champions of South Asia.
What are we talking about? The SAF U-19 Championship, an international tournament for under-19 teams across South Asia. This is the South Asian Football Federation. It saw a nail-biting final between India and Bangladesh. It ended in a dramatic 4-3 penalty shootout win for India. We're just showing you those euphoric visuals on your screens right now. They tied at 1-1 at full time first.
Now it all unfolded in front of a roaring home crowd in Arunachal Pradesh, a night of high nerves, huge heart and a heroic comeback as well. And in the thick of it all was one man, Bibiano Fernandes, under whose recent leadership India's junior team has built a legacy of discipline, skill and belief. And the recent under-19 football tournament win has actually sort of been the latest chapter, the latest feather in his hat.
Right, with us today is the tournament's top goal scorer. So we have with us Danny Mete. He finished across the tournament with 5 sensational goals and he helped drive India's charge to the title. Along with him, we have the coach himself, the architect of this extraordinary campaign, Coach Bibiano Fernandes. Good morning, both of you.
Hi, so lovely to have both of you here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, as you can see, they are shy, they are quiet, all the aggression is reserved for the field and they are still in their teens, all these kids, if I can really call them that. But just a few days ago, they played with the kind of composure and courage that would make any seasoned athlete proud. So let me take the first question to the man who's actually building all these young boys into international level players. Bibiano Fernandes, thank you so much for being with us. And you know, this under-19 victory isn't just a trophy, right? It signals a shift. What does this success really indicate about the future trajectory of Indian football, which is now on such an uptick?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, it's a great victory for the boys. I'm happy for the boys, and it shows that India is in a right way in terms of development, and a lot of tournaments around the country like RFPL is helping these boys to get their level up. And we saw that in the competition as well, and also the fans have helped us a lot to push ourselves and play our best football. And I'm happy, and credit goes to these boys, where it's not easy. It's easy for me to show it on the board, but to do it on the ground, it's not easy. So credit goes to these boys who has showed the crowd and all India that under 19 is a level where we can take from there and start developing them, and in future we have a bright future.
Amazing. Okay, so you talked about the team and the magic they did, and we couldn't bring the entire team on. We thought we'd have one person from the entire team representing them. Danny's with us today. Danny, you were the top scorer through the tournament. You did magic on the field, and we saw some of your energy on the field. So we want to come and ask you, of all the goals that you scored, is there one goal that you hold on to, that you remember and you're like, that's the moment I keep remembering?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, yeah.
My happiest goal was, like, I can't forget, against Sri Lanka, I scored my last goal to get my first international hat-trick. It was the moment that I was waiting for since my childhood. and my father dreams, and I'm very happy for that. And it credit goes to the team and my coaching staff, and that's all.
Yeah. Like I said, the young boys are deserving all the magic and aggression to the field, really. But Danny, I do want to ask you, and this is important for our viewers to know. You know, you played your first ISL match at just 19, and this question is for Danny, really. He was just about 17 at that point. What did you learn from that experience? What draws you towards football?
Playing ISL at a very young age, it helped me to grow more in the future. And for that, I'd like to thank my clubs for giving me opportunity to play. And it helped me. And I worked hard for that, and I'm happy to contribute to the team. That's all.
Okay, let's go over to Coach Bibiano now to ask him. Coach, you've been at the helm of youth teams for many years. Just tell us a little bit about how you've seen young Indian footballers and their mindset change in the last few years, because India has always had thousands of people who love football. What's changed though in the last few years that we're now seeing this kind of performance?
Yes, I was there before the national teams, and I knew that there is a talent. Everybody knows there is talent in India, and in the under 17 also, boys show that we were one match away from qualifying for the under 17 World Cup, and from there, and then after that, when I took up under 20, presently now. I was not surprised to see the talent again, and also credit is also for the scouts who are doing really a good job around India and scouting these players, and these players have something has helped us for them to get that level, and what we saw in the competition. Is one thing is some of them players are already training with ISL teams, and some also has made a debut in ISL, and one of them was a goal scorer, that is our captain Shami in the ISL, and these things helps them to get that level and perform when they get a chance, like in the SAF championship. So it helps a lot. It helps a lot for me, and also the academies who are developing these players back home, the coaches who are working in their states back home. All these coaches, all these academics coaches help these players and develop them, and and then you can see the difference, and you can see what development is happening around. So that is the difference I've seen now, that more academies has come up. There are more academies around India, and more states are getting involved and taking it seriously. And also this ISL training with the first team, and making a debut also helps to perform for them like this.
Sure, you're right, because India forever has been a football watching nation. Yeah. We would love to ensure that we are a football playing and a professional football playing nation as well. But Coach, I have a slightly different question for you, and this is about technique. Balancing player development with the pressure to win, it's a delicate act. It's a fine wire to sort of work on. How do you manage this in high stakes tournaments like the SAF Under 19 Championship, where you already know that you just don't have the weight of your team, but the weight of the entire sport being taken forward in a country on your shoulders?
What we do is we focus on what we have in our hands, winning and losing is the outcome. But what we tell our boys is to focus what is there in their hands, that is they can give 100% on the pitch, that is in their hand, they can prepare themselves well for the competition that is in their hands. So it's not only about on the match day. It starts from right from the day one on the training pitch, where most of our training, is based on match-related trainings. And what we do is there are competitions in this training. So winning starts from there. Every small exercise we do, and there are two teams, and you try to win and give your best. So winning starts from the training as training. And it becomes a habit then, and that's how, and then we are focused on how we can give our best on the match days. Even if it was like in outcome is not positive, but end of the day, if we feel that okay, I have given my best, and I couldn't I couldn't have given more, then still we have gained something. So that is where we focus. And but our boys, they gave their best, and every match they sacrifice so much in the camp, leaving their families. They are there, and then the sacrifice, and I'm happy that it paid off for them.
Okay, Danny and Coach Bibiano, we've run out of time, but it's been lovely having both of you with us, just sharing some of that joy. Danny, we didn't get to ask you, but you come from a state that loves football. Your family supported you, your dad supported you.
Heroes. You must ask him about that.
And this must be your dream coming true, really. But I think we have run out of time, so we're going to have to move on. But it's so lovely having you.
Okay.
Do you want to?
All right, so that was the under-19 football team in India. Who would have thought that we're actually acing it in South Asia?
Amazing,
and just the starting of a future that could be so bright. Like I said, we love watching football. It's time we sort of get down to putting on the boots as well. But let's move on from that for now.
Okay, let's take you now to Overdrive, the BMW CE02. It's quirky, it's fun, and it's futuristic. Is it a bike, a scooter, or something in between? It's a unique electric two-wheeler that blends style, comfort, and performance.
With its quirky design, comfortable seat, and smooth ride quality, it's perfect for city commuting as well, or is it really? We do a live expectation test. This is Overdrive on taking a ride on this bike.
There are so many things in life which are not supposed to be analyzed or understood all the time. Some of them are just supposed to be loved and enjoyed. This is the BMW CE02. So why am I confused? Look at this bike. For example, the price. With this Highline option pack, the ex-showroom price is almost 5 lakh rupees. Then look at the size and the dimension. This floating seat design, which is pretty comfortable, but comfortable for one rider. The pillion might not be comfortable. And look at the seat height, just 745 mm. And most importantly, the tested range is just 108 kilometers. So why did I say that this feels like a concept which went into production without any compromises? So let's take a look at those features, so those aspects which I find really interesting, very distinct and quirky. For example, the shape. Look at the way these tires are placed, and there's one rectangular boxy body at the middle, which feels like a skateboard kind of design. Then you have this floating seat design. Again, not the typical seat design which you feel. One rider is comfortable, pillion not so much, and then you have some space. And then this goes like those bikes which you see on on those trails, motocross bikes. And then this centerpiece, which is all block and rectangular and angular, single-sided swing arm, and look at this covered suspension setup, which looks pretty cool. And then you have the golden finished USDs. Now take a closer look at this instrumentation, which looks again pretty cool. The size is really small. And what kind of information do you get? You get the odometer, you get the range which is available, the speed, then you have ABS. So this gets single channel ABS, by the way. So you have ABS and other info. For example, right now it's showing some kind of notification for the brake light. Then you get a reverse button as well. So these are the features which make me say that this feels like a concept bike which went into production without any functional, practical or marketing cuts. So now you understand my dilemma, the point I was trying to make. A product with BMW badge, range of 108 kilometers, and shape and silhouette like this. So this is not going to be a review. This is going to be a ride. How do I like this? What kind of experience do I get? And what are the pointers I want to share with you? That's the story. According to the official presentation, the BMW CE02 is a piece of street art. That simplifies the story for us. When you introduce any creation as a piece of art, it opens up the world of interpretation. So is the case with CE02. Technically the cheapest electric vehicle from BMW at an ex-showroom price of Rs 4.49 lakh, but it's not a typical BMW by any standards. Neither a track machine nor a bike you would want to take on a transcontinental ride. CE02 is more of a statement for customers looking at something unique, youthful and playful to match their garage's BMWs. It was developed in Germany and produced in India at the TVS plant in Hosur. So let's start with the context and dimensions first. This weighs 142 kilos. The seat height is 745 mm, and just for your reference, I am 6'3", almost 6'3", so this is not that small. Maybe in the frame, I've seen a couple of comments on my previous review where you mentioned that the bike was too small, but it was also because of my frame, my height and my build. So this is not that small, yet 745 mm is not that high either. And look at this floating seat design. The seat is pretty comfortable. The riding style or riding stance is also pretty comfortable. CE02 comes with a very quirky and unusual design. The boxy body on a torsionally rigid double loop frame made of tubular steel. Telescopic forks operate at the front and a single-sided swing arm and a directly pivoted shock absorber at the rear. Plus, wide tires on all black aluminum wheels give a very skateboardish look. You sit low on a narrow seat and have an option of 2 leg positions in solo mode. Relax on the rider footrests or sporty dynamic on the pillion footrests. I wasn't sure how I looked on the camera, but I felt connected as a rider, especially when I transferred my foot onto the rear pegs. You get 3 riding modes in CE02, Flow, Surf and Flash, where Flash mode is part of the Highline package, which is optional. That means an extra 50,000 rupees. The Highline package includes gold anodized fork, distinctive tape designs, and a smartphone holder which can work as an extension to the 3.5-inch TFT screen fitted on the bike.
So that was all about bikes, but the weekend is almost here, so let's look into TGIF. We've got the scoop on the hottest movie releases, OTT debuts and events that will make your weekend unforgettable, including Rajkumar Rao's Bhool Chook Maaf and the live-action Leo and Stitch.
Plus, don't miss Pankaj Tripathi's return as Madhav Mishra in Criminal Justice 4. This is Kaveri's TGIF. Thank God it's Friday rundown. Take a look at everything you can do this weekend.
Welcome back. Thank God it's Friday on The Breakfast Club. I'm Kaveri Gupta and here's your quick guide to everything happening this weekend. From exciting movie releases to thrilling OTT content and events you can attend. Go grab your popcorns and kickstart the most fun-filled ride of this summer. On number 1 is Bhool Chook Maaf, a romantic comedy directed by Karan Sharma featuring Rajkumar Rao and Vamika Gabbi in lead roles. The story revolves around Ranjan, a hopeless romantic who secures a government job to marry his girlfriend. And as they prepare for their wedding, a bizarre time loop occurs, repeatedly setting the day to the haldi ceremony, leaving Ranjan stuck in the frustrating world of a time loop. Well, the Stitch fever is set to take over the summers. Disney's live-action film Lilo and Stitch is full-blown summer spectacle to enjoy with your families. Whether you are 5, 15 or 50, it's got something for everyone to watch with their ohanas. The blue troublemaker is ready to cause utter mayhem and win hearts with his chaos and comedy. Bursting with vibrancy, fun and all things cute, Lilo and Stitch is set against the backdrop of tropical Hawaii. It has tones of love, loss and finding your world in the place. Next is Kap Kapi, a horror comedy film starring Tushar Kapoor, Shreyas Talpade and Siddhi Idnani. Among others is a remake of 2023 Malayalam film Romancham. A clique of friends seeking for a thrill uses an Ouija board to connect a ghost for fun. But they soon realizes that their house has now become haunted by an advent of a female spirit. It is sure to keep you on the edge of your seats. Moving on to OTT releases this weekend, streaming on Jio Hotstar is my personal favorite, Criminal Justice 4. The much anticipated series is the new chapter that continues the narrative with Pankaj Tripathi as Madhav Mishra, the sharp and compassionate lawyer. The trailer begins with Surveen Chawla, who is in search of the best lawyer, hits the door of Pankaj Tripathi. Opposite Madhav Mishra is Sweta Basu Prasad as Lekha Piramal. This intriguing glance into this suspense story will really keep you holding on to the last. On Prime Video is Wolfman, an American horror film which is a reboot of the Wolfman franchise. The plot follows a family man seeking to protect his wife and daughter from a werewolf, only to become infected and slowly transform into the creature. Next is streaming on Netflix. After a successful theatrical run, Salman Khan's film is finally set to make its OTT debut. The film features Salman in the titular character Sanjay Sikandar Rajkot, who is hunted by a politician seeking revenge for a family tragedy. Well, today I have a very interesting list of events you can attend. First, to tickle your funny bones are 4 extremely hilarious comedians. Forget your Kalki Chinta with Ravi Gupta from May 24 onwards and Gaurav Kapoor performing on May 25 in Gurugram. And for all Mumbai girls, we have Anubhav Singh Bassi and Abhishek Upmanyu performing today and on Sunday respectively. Go book your tickets now. Next is a musical treat for Amit Trivedi fans, who is also performing in Mumbai on May 25th. And happening at DLF Promenade from May 24 to 31 are immersive art shows. First step into the genius of Da Vinci. Prepare to be amazed as this groundbreaking experience has toured the world and is now in Delhi and promises to transform the way you will experience art and history. Whether you are a curious mind, an art lover, or simply searching for something extraordinary, Da Vinci Genius is going to leave you spellbound with an unforgettable experience. Second is Van Gogh, an immersive story, now making its highly anticipated debut in India. This extraordinary exhibition invites you on a cinematic journey through the life and works of Vincent van Gogh. Discover the passion, the pain and the brilliance of Van Gogh's life. Well, that's a wrap for this week. Whether you are at the movies, streaming from home or checking out an event, there's something for everyone this weekend. See you next Friday.
Okay, we're going to head into a quick break. On the other side, we're not done yet, so we'll see you in just a few minutes. This is The Breakfast Club.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
So it's exactly a month since the Pahalgam terror attack. India, of course, carrying out Operation Sindoor earlier this month and drawing some new red lines that terror will not go unpunished. There will be a proportionate cost that will be imposed on the enemy. And of course, there are a range of options that are sub-nuclear, some of which India carried out through the course of Operation Sindoor. Are we looking at a new normal? That's what the government of India, that's what the Prime Minister today said in his address in Bikaner. But what are the red lines? What is the template of this new normal? And how will India enforce this new normal were there to be another attack some months or years down the line? Professor John Mearsheimer is with the Political Science Department at the University of Chicago, one of the world's foremost international relations experts. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. You're joining us on the day exactly a month since the attack that happened on the 22nd of April, in which 26 Indians were killed. India, of course, took reprisal action through the military operation that was carried out earlier this month. What is your assessment now, a month in, as to whether India has created a new paradigm or a new security doctrine when it comes to dealing with these acts of terror by the actions it took earlier this month?
That India has created a new paradigm or a new model for dealing with this problem. This is a long-standing problem, and India is, I think, responding today much the way it has responded in the past and is likely to respond in the future. I don't think India wants a major war with Pakistan, and therefore it engages in escalation on the lower rungs of the escalation ladder. And the problem that India faces is that it can't dominate on the lower rungs or even the middle range rungs of the escalation ladder. Furthermore, the United States got deeply involved in this, or at least it claims that it got deeply involved in this, which is not to India's advantage, because India doesn't want it to be a situation where the United States comes in and tells India what to do. But it looks to some people like that's what has happened. And furthermore, from India's point of view, it doesn't want to be treated as an equal with Pakistan. India views itself, understandably, as a greater power than Pakistan. But in a conflict like this, India and Pakistan end up getting treated equally. So I think from a military point of view, it's a standoff.
I do want to talk about the U.S. role because
All right, let's take you next to a section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro. This is the section on financial markets from Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's bring you first an overview of the markets as GIFT Nifty, as we can see over there, is trending up, indicating a positive opening for benchmark equity indices today. Asian equities were up today, soothed by gains in US Treasury notes overnight. US stocks ended marginally down as worries of a deficit and debt continue to persist. Crude oil prices traded soft in morning sessions on supply concerns as OPEC indicates an increase in output.
Let's look at the sector in focus this Friday morning. Outbound travel continues to witness strong momentum, particularly from Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. There is rising demand as well in niche segments such as study abroad programs, luxury travel and cruise vacations. Now, these new pockets of growth can benefit global travel distribution platforms with diverse product offering. You can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about India's travel and tourism sector and various other actionable insights on the markets. It's a premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control.
And that's all that we have for you this week on The Breakfast Club. As usual, any ideas, write to us. What are the stories you want to see us cover? Let us know.
We'll see you again on Monday. Until then, stay close, stay positive. 8 o'clock, TBC. Join us then.
Goodbye.
Brought to you by... This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
So it's exactly a month since the Pahalgam terror attack. India, of course, carrying out Operation Sindoor earlier this month and drawing some new red lines that terror will not go unpunished. There will be a proportionate cost that will be imposed on the enemy. And of course, there are a range of options that are sub-nuclear, some of which India carried out through the course of Operation Sindoor. Are we looking at a new normal? That's what the government of India, that's what the Prime Minister today said in his address in Bikaner. But what are the red lines? What is the template of this new normal? And how will India enforce this new normal were there to be another attack some months or years down the line? Professor John Mearsheimer is with the Political Science Department at the University of Chicago.